Let us try to conclude today the subject that we've spoken the past 2 times about what is the world going to look like in the time of Geula, specifically in terms of what's going to happen with the wild animals. So we have brought a few opinions, very briefly. Maimonides tells us the world will not change, the world is going to continue on its own natural course as we know it today, but it will be perfected, bishlemus. The prophecies that we find in Yeshayahu Navi about the images of the wild animals becoming tame, he says this is only allegoric, referring to the nations that will stop being a danger or threatening to the Jewish community, to the point that we Jewish people will be able to sit in peace and in harmony, study Torah and do mitzvot. We have learned about the Ramban and the Radak that both of their opinion that the world won't change, but they explain that the reason why the animals will become tame, and indeed he says they will become tame, it's not allegoric to the nations, we're referring to the animals, but he said 2 different reasons why they will not be aggressive to humanity, to people. Because, according to the Ramban, since the world will be filled with all the delicacies, there will be plentiful of all food, there would be no need for the animals to attack the humans. The Radak says, since we humans will become perfect, we'll all be on the level of tzaddikim, animals don't attack tzaddikim, as we have quoted different stories. The Radvaz, though, is of the opinion that it will actually be a change of nature, that the animal's character will be changed. As it says, Malach ha'aretz deis Hashem, the entire universe will be filled with the wisdom of God, and therefore the animals will become wise and they will stop being aggressive. The Ramban takes this concept and he brings it another step, and he says they will be tamed, they will be changed in nature, but it's not a real change. Meaning, they're going to return to their original nature, where they were, how they were when God created the world. As we learned yesterday, the pasuk says that God says, all animals, I've given grass for all the animals. Prior to the sin, the animals were all tame and nobody was aggressive. So this is what we learned till now. Let us now try to understand very briefly what it means that the wisdom of God, the Malach ha'aretz deis Hashem, the wisdom of godliness will affect the animals. Animals will learn. On a light note, Reb Aryeh will learn b'chavrusa with Reb Zev, and so on. What means they're going to be learned? They will understand. They will understand godliness. Is this applicable to animal too? So here is a very interesting explanation as it's explained in Chassidus, and on behalf of the Tzemach Tzedek, and it says the following, that indeed there will be such a godly revelation of God's presence in this world that will actually affect the animals. We do find a pasuk that says, Yoda shoyer kanehu, the ox knows his master. So we can find a concept of knowledge attributed even to an animal. And let's go another famous story in the Talmud. The donkey of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Donkey of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, the Gemara in Chulin relates that it wouldn't eat from food where Masa was not taken, where the tithe wasn't taken and given to the Levites. The animal was aware of this unholy food, and as such it didn't want to eat it. We also have another story of what is called eventually Yochanan ben Torta, that he bought a cow from a Jew and it came to Shabbos, the cow didn't want to work. So he went back to the original owner and he said, look, your cow is lazy. So the owner went back to her and says, you don't belong to me anymore, you can start learning, you can start working on Shabbat. The Gentile who bought it said, if an animal is so aware of wisdom of God, of knowledge of God, how much more do I need to know? And he converted, in effect, he was called Yochanan, the son of an ox, because it was the ox that brought him to Judaism. So therefore he says, indeed, in the time of Geula, with the ultimate revelation of godliness, it will affect the nature of the animals. But let's go back to the original question we asked about Maimonides, where Maimonides says that the world won't change, yet there will be Tchiyat HaMetim. And the Rabbi answered in a very simple fashion. There are two stages in the coming of Mashiach. There's the first stage and the second stage. The first stage, according to Rambam, will be a time where Mashiach will be rebuilding the Bet HaMikdash. He will bring Jews to Eretz Yisrael. He will bring the perfection of the world. We will be sitting and learning Torah in its ultimate. But this is the first stage. At that stage, the world continues to function as we know it, but in a perfect state. And there the animals are still animals. In the second stage, the stage of Tchiyas HaMesim, that's when the entire world will be transformed. The nature of animals will be transformed. Our natures will be transformed, which is a discussion for another time. So may we hope that this at least first stage should materialize right now with the imminent revelation of Mashiach.